everybody or nobody. Whoever's the early comers, maybe Debbie. Oh, we got poll votes. Yeah. Got a poll going. The poll is, do you trust the media? That's what the poll is. That's the starting of the poll, whatever. That's what we're doing. And have some four-part subject tonight that we're going to be talking about. And at the end of it, huh? I can't find this. Want me to help you? At the end of it, we'll be taking questions. Chris is back to help us, by the way. She'll be, here you go. She'll be helping me read the comments and stuff and the questions so that it'll go a little smoother, but we're happy to have Chris back after her illness. You want to say hi, Chris?
Hi, Chris.
You're live. You're on now. Your microphone's live. Say hello to everybody, Chris, so they know that you're back and you're better.
Hi, everyone.
She's not completely healed, but she's better than she was.
Happy to be back home.
Yep, and I'm happy to have her back home. It's been it's been really nerve-wracking for me while she was gone, for her not to be around. But she's back and getting healthy. She's not going to croak, I don't think. Are you going to croak?
I don't think, not this time.
No, she's not going to croak this time. Maybe next time.
Next time.
So if you had a poll going, and stuff like that, if you bet on croaking, well, you lost. So we'll get started here. And Chris, you can say hi to people as they come in if you would.
Okay.
I just came in from outside. My nose is running like crazy. But thanks. I'll get on to it anyway. We'll get started. Welcome, everybody. Thanks. Chris will be in control of the chat tonight. And let's get going. Tonight, I want to talk about something that almost everybody feels, but almost nobody says out loud anymore. And that's this. Nobody trusts the news. Not the left, not the right, not the independents, nobody. And if you're sitting there thinking, not me, my network tells me the truth. Stay with me, because the numbers say otherwise. Here's a hard reality. Public trust in the media is the lowest it has been ever in modern history. Not low, not slipping, rock bottom. Less than 1/3 of Americans say they trust the news to report fairly. That means roughly 2 out of 3 people think the media is either biased or flat out lying. And honestly, can you blame them? Turn on any network today. It doesn't matter which side you pick. It's not reporting anything. It's performance. It's outrage. It's emotional manipulation. It's how do we keep you scared long enough to change the channel? Because fear sells, anger sells, clicks sell, calm, truth, that doesn't pay the bills. And here's where people get fooled. They think bias only exists on the other side. Those guys are propaganda. My side is fact. Now, that's how this works. Everybody spins, everybody frames, everybody chooses which stories get oxygen. And what they don't tell you is often more important than what they do. Let me explain something simple. News isn't just about what they say. It's about what they don't say. If a story hurts their team, it disappears. If it hurts the other team, it runs 24 hours a day. Same event, 2 totally different realities, depending on which channel you watch. You might think there's either living in the best economy ever or 5 minutes from total collapse. That's not journalism. That's narrative control. And I'll say something blunt. If a network makes you feel angry every single day, they're not informing you. They're framing you. You're the product. You're the attention. Your attention is the product. Your emotions are product. Outrage keeps you watching longer. longer than facts ever will. Think about this. When the last time you saw a calm, balanced reporting? Really? Last time you turned on the TV, when was the last time you seen a calm, balanced reporting of the news? And that said, here's what happened. Decide for yourself. Almost never. It's always, this is dangerous. This is historic. This changes everything. Democracy is ending. The country is doomed. Every single day. Everything is an emergency. If everything is an emergency, nothing is real anymore. And here's the part people don't like to hear. This isn't just a left problem, and it isn't just a right problem. It's both. Some networks protect Democrats like they're fragile glass. Some protect Republicans like they're saints. Both sides bury stories that hurt their people. Both sides amplify stories that help their side. That's not truth, that's team sports. News used to be boring, and boring was good. Boring meant facts. Now it's a flash graphics, dramatic music, breaking news, banners every 10 minutes. If everything is breaking, nothing is breaking. It's theater. It's WWE with suits. The social media made it worse. Algorithms don't reward truth. They reward emotion. Some of the most extreme takes rise to the top. Moderate voices disappear. Nuance dies. And suddenly, everybody thinks the other side is evil because that's the only version that you ever see. And here's what scares me the most. It's not just politics. It's family, friends, neighbors. People can't even talk anymore because they're not arguing facts. They're arguing completely different realities. Two people watching two different networks might as well be living in two different countries. That's not healthy. That's manipulation. And it's working exactly how they want it to. Divide people, keep them fighting each other, so nobody looks up and asks who benefits from all this chaos. Here's a simple rule. If the news source says never criticizes the other side, it's propaganda. If they attack the other team, it's propaganda. If every story is emotional, it's propaganda. Truth is messy. Truth criticizes everybody. Truth is boring sometimes. Propaganda is exciting. So what do? Simply stop marrying your news source. Don't treat it like your favorite sport team. Simple. Multiple sides compare stories. Look at raw facts, not commentary. And anytime someone tries to make you furious, pause. Ask yourself, are they informing me or manipulating me? Because at the end of the day, a free country cannot function without shared reality. And right now, we don't have one. We have echo chambers. We have outrage machines. We have billion-dollar companies selling fear. And we're not buying it. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you to think for yourself. Don't outsource your brain to a talking head on TV. Question everything, even me, especially me. That's how truth survives. So if you ever think your news is biased, I'm not asking you to agree with me. Just test it. Watch the other side for 1 week. Notice what they cover. Notice what they ignore. The pattern becomes obvious, right? Becomes obvious really fast. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And honestly, that's the first step to getting our country back to being sane again. Less screaming, more thinking, less teams, more truth. That's it. Let's talk. Drop in the chat if you agree with me or you don't agree with me. Do you still trust your news? Or are you done with it too? Chris, is there anybody who would like to talk about this subject in there?
So far, they're talking about other things, but
okay,
maybe they'll get pulled into this.
Yeah, so do you guys trust your news? If you trust your news, there's a poll going right now. Just put yes, or you can put yes in the comment, I trust my news, or no, I don't trust my news.
Or make a comment about it.
Or ask a question or comment about it. Ask why I don't trust mine. It's like tonight, believe it or not, I was listening to Fox News, but it's different here because I'm in the Bay Area. And in the Bay Area, it's a very liberal state. So Fox News here is way different than Fox News in other places. So they say different things because it kind of shocked me. Well, not shocked me because I'm used to it, but it wasn't your typical Fox News report. That's what I'm saying, that I normally would hear. So we'll go on to the next subject. If nobody has any questions or answers or talk about it.
No.
Just talking about how beautiful I am?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so we'll continue. To me, I want to say something tonight. This has been sitting in my chest for a while. And maybe you feel it too. Not my chest, by the way. But you just couldn't quite put it to words. I didn't realize this country. I don't recognize this country anymore. I don't mean that dramatically. I mean that literally. It feels different. It feels colder, meaner, like something basically broke. Because I remember a time, and it isn't even that long ago, when people disagreed, but they didn't hate each other. You could vote differently than your neighbor and still borrow their lawnmower. You could argue politics at work and still grab lunch together afterwards. Nobody thought you were evil. Nobody thought you were the enemy. You were just wrong. And that was fine. Well, now, disagreement equals war. If you don't agree 100%, you're a monster. You're stupid. You're brainwashed. You're dangerous. And I keep asking myself, when did we stop being people and start being teams? Because that's what it feels like now. Not a country, not a community, but teams. Red team, blue team, pick your jersey, hate the other side, don't ask questions, don't think, just cheer when your side is scoring. That's not citizenship, that's sports. And here's the part that bothers me most. I don't think we actually got worse as people. I think we got manipulated. I think we got played. Because look at the incentives. Social media, news, politics, all of it running on one thing now, outrage. Calm doesn't go viral. Reason doesn't trend. Compromise doesn't get clicks. Believe me, I know that. Anger does. Fear does. They're destroying the country. So what happened? The loudest, craziest voices rise to the top. The normal people disappear. And suddenly it looks like everybody's insane. But they're not. They're just seeing the 5% extremists on repeat all day, every day. Think about this. If you only watch videos of a car crash, you think driving was impossible. But you don't see the millions of normal drivers that went fine. Same thing here. We're being fed nonstop crashes, nonstop conflict, nonstop worst case scenarios. And our brains start believing this is what the whole country looks like. It's not. It's just what sells. And here's where common sense gets lost. Common sense used to say, hey, maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Now, if you say that, both sides attack you. If you don't fully agree with one team, you're a traitor. That's insane. That's cult behavior, not democracy.
Yeah. Taylor Hunt said, most accurate description I've heard in a while is also you can't not take a side or you're just as bad.
No, you have to take a side or you're against them.
Just as bad, yeah.
Right. You know what real strength looks like? Being able to say, my side's screwed up. Try saying that today. Watch how fast people turn on you, because loyalty matters more than truth now. And that should scare everybody. And everything else changed too. We stopped seeing each other face to face. Everything moved online. And the internet did something dangerous. It removed consequences. When you're standing in front of somebody, you talk differently. You have empathy. You see their eyes. You remember they're human. But behind a screen, people say things they'd never say in real life. Boy, do I know that here, don't I? It dehumanizes everybody. And once you dehumanize someone, it's easy to hate them. That's why everything else feels so extreme. Because it's not real conversation. It's driven by insults. It's memes. It's gotcha clips. Nobody listens. Everybody waits for their turn to attack. And meanwhile, regular people like us, we just trying to live, pay bills, work jobs, take care of family. Most Americans aren't activists. They're not radicals. They're not screaming online all day. They just want normal life. But you never know that from watching the internet. And here's the honest truth. Most of us agree one way more than we disagree. We want safe neighborhoods, affordable food, decent jobs, freedom, fairness. That's like 90% of the country. But instead of focusing on that 90, we fight over the 10 every day, nonstop. And ask yourself this, who benefits from that? Not you, not me, but the people at the top. Do they? They love it. Because divided people don't unite. Divided people don't demand change. Divided people stay distracted, fighting each other instead of asking bigger questions. It's the oldest trick in the book. Keep the crowd arguing so they never look behind the curtain and say something blunt. If a politician or a news outlet constantly tells you the other side is evil, you're not trying to fix anything. They're trying to control you. Because once you believe the other side is evil, you accept anything, you'll justify anything. You'll accept anything and you'll justify anything. That's how countries fall apart. Not from disagreement, from hatred. Disagreement is healthy. Hatred is poison. I don't want a country where everybody agrees. That's fake. That's authoritarianism. I want a country where we can disagree and still shake hands afterwards. Where we can debate hard and still respect each other. Where politics isn't your entire identity because you're more than your vote. I'm more than my vote. We're neighbors first, humans first. Everything else comes second. So maybe the solution is simple, simpler than you think. Talk to people in real life, not just online. Listen more, assume less. Stop treating politics like a religion and stop letting billion-dollar companies tell you who to hate. Because at the end of the day, most of us aren't enemies. We're just tired, confused, and being pulled around by forces that profit from chaos. And I don't know about you, but I'm done playing team sports with the country. I want common sense back. I want conversations back. I want neighborhoods back. So here's my question for you tonight. Honestly, no team answer, no slogans, just real life. Do you feel like we're more divided now, or is it just louder? Drop something in the chat. Let's talk like humans again. Right? When was the last time you said hi to somebody at the store when you're in line?
Right.
Instead of being on your phone. I see more heads down in public than anything. It's like they can't put the phone down. They're attached at the hip, per se. Nobody ever says good morning anymore. Hell, it's hard to get a cashier to say thank you after you purchase something anymore, right? You feel awkward if you say thank you to them. They don't say it, you're welcome or anything back. It's weird. I remember times when you'd go to the store while you were standing there waiting in line, you'd say good morning to the person next to you. And now if somebody says good morning to you, you want to run. Like, why are you saying good morning to me? Do you know what I'm talking about, Christine?
Yeah, I do.
Do you feel it too?
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time when you were at store sitting at, in line at
People
Safeway,
do not interact
and you have
at
a
all.
big basket in front of you and it takes them 10 minutes to do it, but you never say hello to the person behind you or in front of you.
Nope. People don't.
That would be considered rude just 20 years ago. And now it's like if you say something to somebody, they're like, what do you want? Weirdo. Don't talk to me. Don't look at my kid. I remember a time where you could look down at somebody's kid and go, hi, how you doing? You know what I mean? And joke around with their little kid and tease them or say, hey, your kid's cute without them thinking, you pervert. You know what I mean? What's happened to this country? I just don't get it. Do you agree with me or disagree?
I totally agree with you. People have their heads down. They never interact with each other at all.
Anybody want to talk about that or no?
It's people just keep to themselves, and everybody's in a big hurry. There's no thank yous. There's nothing.
We're born, you have beautiful hands. I have big, beautiful hands, huh? I just built a barn with these big, beautiful hands. Well, not a barn, but a roof. Okay, we'll keep going here. We'll get to the chat in a bit. But, that's something you guys need to think about. Our kids now, the generation growing up has no idea what social interactions are anymore, right? How do you guys find a date if you don't ever talk to anybody? Do you go, excuse me, can I text you later?
Right.
What happened to asking parents, if you can take their kids? I just don't get it anymore. It's crazy now. So to me tonight, I'm doing feelings. I'm not doing slogans. I'm not doing activism. We're doing facts. Simple, clean, boring facts. Because honestly, the whole trans conversation got way too emotional and way too stupid. And when things get emotional, common sense leave the room. Here's what drives me crazy. Most people don't actually hate trans people. They're not monsters. They're not evil. They're just confused because everything that they hear is extreme. Every headline is dramatic. Every story sounds like the sky is falling. And none of it matches reality. So tonight, let's slow down. Let's talk like adults. And let's separate what's true from what people just repeat because they heard it on TV. First fact, trans people are rare, very rare. Depending on the studies, you're talking roughly 1/2 of 1% of the population is trans. 1/2 of 1%. That's how rare it is for trans people. That's why people here rarely have ever talked to a trans person. That's about 1 out of every 200 people. Some estimates are even lower. Right out of the gate, this isn't some takeover. It's not an invasion. It's a tiny group of people trying to live their lives. That's it. But if you watch the news, you think trans people are everywhere. Every school, every locker room, every sport, every corner of society nonstop. Like it's the biggest issue in America. It's not statistically, it's microscopic. Second fact, most trans people are not activists. They're not trying to change your life. They're not trying to convert anybody. They're not thinking about you at all. They're working jobs, paying bills, buying groceries, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
The loud 5% online, that's not real life. That's social media noise. Let's hit the one everybody argues about the most, sports. And I personally think there shouldn't be transgender athletes in sports, not competing against biological people. But this is where people get heated fast. So let's stick to the numbers, not feelings. Actual participation numbers for trans athletes. Tiny. We're talking about thousands. We're not talking about hundreds. In most states, it's single digits, sometimes zero. Entire states with no trans athletes competing at all. But the way it's covered, you'd think every championship is being stolen. It's not happening. It's statistically rare. Now, here's where I'm going to be straight with you. Fairness questions. They're not crazy. They're not hateful. They're legitimate biology matters in sports. Strength differences matter. This is reality. Pretending differences don't exist is dumb. And people lose trust when you pretend obvious things aren't real. But here's the flip side nobody talks about. If there's one trans kid competing somewhere, that doesn't mean society is collapsing. It means there's one kid, not an army. One. And one is too many, by the way. I don't think that any transgender women should be competing against biological women. So don't confuse that I am. I'm not contesting this, but I'm saying the way they portray it is that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of kids taking over every aspect of sports and women's sports. So we turned education into national emergencies. That's media drama. That's not reality. Next myth. Trans people are coming after your kids. That's fear bait. Schools aren't strictly recruiting kids. Doctors aren't handing out surgeries like candy. It's nonsense. Medical transitions for minors is rare, extremely. I still think that kids, before you start jumping all over me, no kid should transition until they're 18 years old. That's my opinion. Multiple doctors, multiple evaluations, years of steps. This isn't fast food. It's slow and calculated because nobody wants mistakes, contrary to what people say online. And surgeries for minors, almost non-existent. People act like it's happening every day. It's not. It's extremely rare. Most transitional care young people is social, therapy-based, not surgical. Again, boring facts, not scary headlines. Here's another truth. Most trans people just want to blend in, not stand out, not protest, not argue, blend in, go to work, be left alone. That's it. But you never hear about the quiet ones because quiet doesn't make money. Drama makes money. Fear makes money. Anger makes money. So what does the media do? They take the wildest story they can find and act like it represents everybody. That's like judging all dog owners by one crazy person on YouTube. It's stupid logic. And here's something people don't expect me to say. Both sides lie. Yep, both. The right exaggerates threats. The left exaggerates perfection. Truth is in the middle. Like always, there are real conversations to have, but instead, we get yelling and yelling solves nothing. Let me put it in plain. Trans people are not destroying society, and they're not also magical unicorns above criticism. They're just people, regular, flawed, normal people like everybody else. Some are cool, some are annoying, some are great, like me. Some are idiots, just like any group. That's reality. That's ideology. And honestly, most Americans don't care nearly as much as politicians pretend they do. This topic gets used like a weapon every election cycle because it's emotional, it's dividing people, it keeps everyone distracted. Meanwhile, your rent goes up, your groceries go up, gas goes up, but we're arguing about 0.5% of the population. Think about that. 0.5% of the population. That doesn't make sense. If something affects almost nobody but dominates the news, you're being manipulated, period. So here's my position, simple, fact, not fear, not fantasy, facts. Be fair, use common sense, protect people, but don't panic over ghosts. And maybe, just maybe, stop letting the loudest people online define reality, because real life is way less dramatic than Twitter wants you to believe. And at the end of the day, I'm not asking you to agree with everything. I'm asking you to look at the numbers, look at this scale, and ask yourself, is this really crisis they keep telling me it is? Or are we getting played again? So drop your thing in the chat. What do you think? Is the issue bigger than reality or smaller than headlines? What do you think, Chris?
I think people ought to mind their own business.
Well, it's just,
in the chat,
I don't think people realize how rare a transgender person is. That's why I come on here and say, if you would like to ask me a question, because I realize that most people don't have the ability to ask trans people questions because they don't know them.
Right. They're still kind of stuck on if you stand up to go pee or not.
I sit down to go pee because I have a vagina. If I stood up and went pee, I'd pee all over the place.
Yes.
It wouldn't work.
A real transgender person.
Yeah, I have a vagina, breast and everything. I've had bottom surgery and top surgery. But, that's what I mean. Why do you care? Why does anybody care whether I sit down or stand up and pee? Does that change your life if I stand and pee or sit and pee? Look at the numbers. 0.5% of the population is trans. That is such a small number. Such a small number, but such a huge thing. So we'll keep going here then, unless somebody has a question or a comment that you want to read about it.
I'm just monitoring the comments.
And nobody's talking about it at all?
No, not really. Trans people,
Okay,
they're
so go ahead. You have something to say now?
just stuck on whether you're a guy or
Yeah, but
not.
there's some in between and you're just not seeing them. To me, I want to think back for a second, and I'll get to the chat here in a minute. I want to think back for a second. Not that far, 15 years, maybe 20. That's it. Not ancient history. Not black and white TV days. Just before everything lived in your pocket. Before everything you thought had an app. I remember when I didn't even know what an app was. Do you?
Yeah, I remember when I
the
did.
first time you heard the word app, you're like, what is that? What are you talking about?
Right.
Wasn't that long ago? Before every argument had, a comment section. Before every second of your life was documented, before the internet followed you everywhere. And ask yourself something, honestly. If people were people calmer back then? Because I swear they were. Not perfect, not saints, but calmer. Less angry, less paranoid, less on edge. Now everybody feels like a lit match all the time. And I don't think this is an accident. I think something changed us quietly, slowly, right under our noses. And I think it was this. The internet stopped being a tool. It started being our environment. It used to be something you logged into. Now it's something you live inside. And that difference matters. Back then, you went online for a reason. You checked email. Remember? You got mail.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yep.
You got mail, and it was rare to have mail. Now I have 9 million emails a day. Look something up. That's what you used it for. Maybe watch a video. Then you logged off. Oh my God. Do you ever log off your phone, Chris?
No.
Me neither. Shutting your phone off is like rare. It feels like craziness. Why would you do that?
Yeah, you'd be abandoned without it.
And after you logged off, you went back to real life. Your brain got breaks, silence, boredom, thinking time. Now, there is no off switch. You wake up, grab your phone and scroll. Bathroom, scroll. Lunch, scroll. And the bathroom scroll is kind of gross if you think about it.
Yeah, I don't use my phone in the
Before
bathroom.
bed, you scroll. You're never alone with your own thoughts anymore. Ever. And that sounds small, but it's huge. Because boredom used to be where thinking happened. Reflection happened. Creativity happened. Now boredom gets killed instantly. We don't think anymore. We react. Scroll, react. Scroll, react. Scroll, react. All day, every day. It's like mental junk food. And here's the part people don't talk about. These apps aren't neutral. They're not just tools. They're engineered by very smart people whose only job is to keep you staring at the screen as long as possible. Not inform you, not help you, not make you happier, keep you hooked. That's the business model. And what keeps humans hooked the longest? Not peace, not positivity, not calm, conflict, anger, fear, drama. So what do the algorithms show you? The craziest stuff first, most extreme opinions first, the most outrage headlines first, because that's what makes you stop scrolling. And when you stop scrolling, they make money. You ever notice how every online feels like the end of the world? Yes, I do. Every day. It feels like the end of the world every damn day. It gives me anxiety. This is destroying America. This is the worst thing ever. We're doomed. Everything is collapsing every single day. That's not reality. That's engagement framing. If you watch only the internet, you think society is 10 minutes from civil war. When was the last time anybody actually watched a whole movie? rather than scroll on TikTok or YouTube, right? When was the last time you sat and watched a whole movie with your family? Then you go outside. People are just walking their dogs, going to work, buying groceries, normal, because real life is boring. The internet isn't. And the gap that's messing with our heads. Here's another change I've noticed. We stopped talking to each other, like really talking face to face. Now it's comments, text bubbles. Some people text the person at dinner instead of talking to them, right? At the same table. Tweets. And something gets lost there. Humanity, tone, context, empathy. When you're standing in front of somebody, you're careful. You see their face. You hear their voice. You remember they're human. Online, they're just words on a screen. So people say things that they'd never say in real life. Cruel things, nasty things, dehumanizing things. And after years of that, it hardens people. It makes everybody meaner, shorter, less patient, shorter tempers, less grace, less benefit of doubt. And here's something that really worries me. Kids growing up right now, they don't even know a world without this. They've never had privacy. They've never had offline childhoods. They've never got to just be dumb kids without living online forever. Every mistake recorded, every awkward phase public. That's brutal. Non-human brains evolved from that. We weren't built for 24/7 comparison either. Seeing everybody's highlight reel nonstop, perfect vacation, perfect bodies, perfect houses, fake perfection all day, and you wonder with anxiety and depression exploded. You wonder why. Of course they did. You're comparing your real life to everybody else's edited movie trailer. That's not fair to your brain. And there's politics. Oh man, politics got gasoline poured on it because now the loudest people win, not the smartest, not the most reasonable, the loudest, the angriest, the most extreme. That's who the algorithm boosts, not moderate voices. They disappear. And it looks like the whole country is insane. It's not. We're just seeing the worst samples on repeat. It's like judging humanity by YouTube comment sections. Of course it looks awful. That's not real life. And here's the part that hits me personally. We're more connected than ever, but we never felt more alone. Understand that? We're so connected, but we still feel alone. Thousands of followers, hundreds of likes, but nobody actually sits with it. Nobody actually talks to. Nobody fake connections. Digital sugar feels good for a second, then empty. So yeah, the internet did amazing things. I'm not pretending it didn't, but we can learn anything instantly. Talk to anyone, build businesses, create shows. It literally used to say it'd be every day, but let's not pretend there's no cost. There's always a cost. And I think it cost our attention, our patience, and a little bit of our humanity. So maybe the solution isn't complicated. Maybe it's simple. Put the phone down sometimes. Go outside. Talk to real people. Have uncomfortable conversations in person. Let your brain be bored again. Think again. Be human again. Because if we don't control this thing, it controls us. And honestly, I think it already does more than we want to admit. So tell me in chat, be honest. Do you think the internet made your life better? Or did we accidentally trade something important for convenience?
I think we traded something important.
So what do you guys think out there in the real world? Do you think that we've traded something for convenience? Do you think the internet has made your life better? It's made mine more informed, but I don't know if that's a good thing or not, right? That could be a bad thing because they're right. Every time I go on, every time I watch news, because I listen to YouTube in my head all day long while I'm working. And generally it's politics. And I get so stressed out by the end of the day, my nerves are frayed, not because of work, because of what I'm hearing. It feels like the world is on fire every day. And it can't be that bad, right? And I have to tell myself, no, they're just projecting the worst of the worst of the worst on me every day. And that's scary. Like I said, our kids, they don't know any different, right? That's what all they know is that. So I'll look at the comments with Chris here, and we'll try to see if somebody has anything that they want to add to it. I have a respectful comment. Can I get attention, please? I want to say some, but I don't want to waste the writing a paragraph for no reason, and they don't see it. Well, you should have wrote it there. I would have seen it, right? Go ahead. Do you see who I'm reading there? Joshua Kent. Go ahead, Joshua. Oh, there it is. I just read that. Okay, I can't do it. Elizabeth, can you calm down on the jewels? I appreciate it, but she looks like a stand-up funeral home. That's cute. I thought I looked like me and Chris were getting married.
Here's a question about trans.
Okay.
Okay. Sire the King Music says, I have a question. If you know you're biologically male and cannot be a female, does being a trans woman make you happy?
Yes.
Or do you still have dysphoria since you cannot change your biological gender?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. It doesn't take away the desire to be a natural born woman, but it gets you closer. So it calms you down a lot. And then you just have to have common sense. You just have to accept the fact you are who you are, right? And you can only change it so much. You know, like I've had bottom surgery and top surgery, and you get to a point where you say, I've done everything I can do, right? So you try to tame that, the envy that you have for natural born women. And you need to just find some comfort in that. You know, if you're living your life, like I'm living my life the way I want to now, and there's a lot of comfort in it. It's cost me greatly, but there's that. Okay. I don't want to miss that one person's comment that I said I would pay attention or look for, but go ahead if you have another one. Why does this guy keep popping on my recommended? Go away, fella. Probably because you're perceived as being intelligent, because generally the people that get recommended my channel are people that actually have intelligence. Maybe they're doing it wrong with you. I think you're beautiful. Thank you. I don't know what you are. I agree with what you're saying. Well, thank you. It's common sense, right? What I'm saying is common sense. What happened to days like what was that, Dennis the Menace, or where's that? Woo, 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 woo. What was that show? That whistling?
That was
Andy Griffith's show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just happy days.
Right.
You know, the cool old days
when everything was easier. Joshua Kent.
You are perfect and amazing looking. Go ahead.
Joshua Kent, go ahead and ask your question. Joshua has a respectful comment and wants to get attention because he wants to say something but doesn't want to waste time writing a paragraph for no reason. So I'll look for you, Joshua. Go ahead and write your comment.
Yes, Chris will keep her out. Unfortunately, sense is no longer common. Boy, is that a true fact. What you just said is a mouthful of truth. For example, my community, the trans community, have lost their ever-loving minds. Every time I hear of a trans athlete winning an award, it makes my blood boil. It's like, God damn it. You know you have an advantage. Just admit it. I just want to hear one trans person say, yep, you're right. I had an advantage and I shouldn't have taken that award away from a freaking biological woman. But nobody ever does. They keep saying the same shit. I don't have an advantage. I don't have an bullshit. You don't. It's, oh God, it just irritates the hell out of me. You speak such truth. I wish people would just take a second and listen before commenting. They could learn so much from you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Willow. Okay, Joshua just sent the thing there. Did you see Joshua's?
No.
My uncle is gay. He had a lot of friends that were trans, but a lot of the, let's see, whoa. Where did it go? He had a lot of friends that were trans. Times would happen when they would regret their decision and hate their life and live miserably. I can understand what you're saying. There's been times that I've wished I wasn't trans because my life would be so much easier and I would still have the respect of my kid and my parents. But it is what it is. You can't wish being trans away. You are who you are. But yeah, would my life be easier if I wasn't? Chris, would my life be easier
If what?
if I wasn't transgender?
I think it might be.
Oh, hell yes, it would be.
Yeah, because
My boss says that to me all the time. Boy, your life sure would be easier if you weren't like that, huh? In a joking way, but he's true. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm a woman and I don't really know what being trans is. What does being a woman mean to you? Sorry if that's not a polite thing to ask or a way to ask it. I don't mean to be offensive. I don't take that as offensive at all. That's a great question. I don't know what it's like to be a biological female. I never will know that because I was born male and I am biologically male. I can't get pregnant, so I'll never know what that's like. I'm not into men, so I'll never know what sex with a man is like. So I don't know what being a natural born woman feels like. As a trans woman, it's an interesting calmness when I look in the mirror that I never had before. And that is just the fact that that part of my brain that has to do with your identity is now relating to what they see in the mirror or what I see in the mirror compared to what I used to see. I just felt like it was off. But that's a great question. I don't know what it feels like to be a woman. I sure would like to, but I know I never will. So I just try to be the best trans woman that I can be and live in as much of a real world and common sense world as I can. Hopefully that answers your question. You're so beautiful, just beyond no desire to be a woman. You look better than most women. I wouldn't say that. I look different. I definitely, you can tell that I'm trans, that I'm a trans woman, which is okay with me. It used to not be okay because every time I'd leave the house, I had to learn something. The person that I seen in the mirror was not the same person that the public seen, right? I would look in the mirror and think there's no way anybody would know that I'm trans. And then I'd go out in public and it's just so obvious that everybody knows I'm trans. And I was like, why? What is it? Probably because I've got big, broad shoulders. I have a face that still has masculine features. And I had to learn to accept myself that it's okay to be a trans woman, right? It's okay. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not. I'm just trying to live my best life. Go ahead, Chrissy, if you have something.
Slick Shabby says, with the idea of doing everything you've done, and still being envious of a natural woman, wouldn't it be more natural for you to accept yourself physically as a man and work mentally towards loving you? I
tried.
You did.
I waited till I was 54 years old to actually take the leap and transition because being miserable got so strong and the pull to let out the interior woman that I was out, it's hard to explain. It's like being gay, I imagine, and trying to force yourself to like women or men, depending on what you are. I imagine it's like that if you're gay and, you're just trying to force yourself to want to be with women when you actually just cannot help the fact that you want to be with men. I think it feels a lot like that. So that's my answer to that. I don't know how else to answer it. That's as honest as I can answer you. Do you think there should be a process to make sure they definitely want to be trans? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I think that you should definitely see it. I think what's brilliant is what my insurance made us do first is bottom surgery. And the reason I say that that's brilliant because I think that's the hardest part for somebody to agree to is to remove their manlyhood, right? Their penises. And if you're willing to do that, I'm pretty damn sure you're transgender, right? You agree, Chris?
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you have any questions at all, that would be the time you would question it, before you would do that. Now, that's not saying if you don't have bottom surgery, that means that you're not trans. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that is a good, in my opinion, a good thing, a good measuring stick. But a lot of trans people don't want to lose their penises. That doesn't make them any more or less trans than I am. I'm just saying that's just my opinion. That's just me.
Yeah.
Are you single? Well, Chrissy's my girlfriend, but we're not intimate because she's not gay. Doesn't that suck for me? You have strong shoulders. Men fight bears. Women cook bears. Not always, but I get what you're saying. Absolutely. The hardest part for me is to let go of that persona of a protector. Like when I'm out with Chris, right? Or to realize that I could be in danger in certain circumstances, to where if I'm in a parking lot, it's at nighttime and it's alone, I forget that I'm a target to some people now, to where before you just walk through like, I dare you, I'll kick your ass. And now, so that's been a hard adjustment for me. Or if somebody comes at Chris, for me not to be like, I will beat your ass down if you touch that one, kind of a thing. Being the protector is hard for me to let go. Although I probably never will.
You probably never will.
I never will, because it's just embedded in me.
Yeah.
I never said I'm a biological male, right? I was that way for 54 years. I'm 61 now. You can't just let all that go. It's still in me, but I'm trying to live my best life.
Joshua Kent wants to know, do you think there should be a pre-council session before a trans switches to make sure this is what they want?
I think that
you went through years of it.
You should go through years of it.
Years of it.
You should find a counselor that wants to explore every other avenue first, and trans being the last thing that they suspect, because trans can be masked by other things that give the appearance of trans. Depression. There's all kinds of other things. And here's the shitty part. If you transition somebody because you think it's trans and it's not, they're going to transition and still have the same problems that they had before, because you didn't attack the actual issue. And that would be, oh my God, that would be horrible. Imagine going through the whole transition, cutting your penis off, getting breasts, and then you realize that wasn't your issue. Oh my God, that would be terrible, especially to a child. No way. Yeah, absolutely. You should go through at least a year of counseling, if not more. I agree with you, but I like the thought process. You may not enjoy me saying this, but I see a vision. I see a vision that God has for you and what he has in mind for you. Intelligence in mind bobbling with. Chris, you want to read that again from Joshua?
I don't see where it is.
People need to speak out the truth because there are...
Joshua, I don't agree with you, but I like your thought process. You may not enjoy me saying this, but I see a vision that God has for you and what he has in mind for you. Your intelligence in mind bobbling with.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I actually wrote a song that's called Lord, Why Did You Make Me This Way? If you look up on my YouTube channel, I think it's in there. I think it's been downloaded already, but yeah, it's called, you might appreciate it. It's, where I'm asking God, why did you make me this way? Because this is not what I wanted. It's like when I finally realized what was going on with me, it's like, oh shit, man, this is going to suck. Because I didn't want to be trans. Who would want to wish this lifestyle upon somebody? I'm trying to make the best of it. I'm happy, but it's not what I would have wanted for my kids, for my parents, for Christine. Just being an old man would have been cool, but it's not who I am. And I had to accept that because I was miserable, just miserable. Okay, so here we go. People need to speak out the truth because there are a lot of crazy people talking like nothing is wrong, while sane people don't want to express sane thoughts. You're right, because the people that are just doing sane thoughts, people think, how dare you, right? How dare, like people to me all the time, how dare I as a trans person say that transgender women don't belong in women's sports, or that we shouldn't transition children? You transphobic trans person. And to me, that is just like laughable. How could I possibly be transphobic when I'm trans? But just because I became trans doesn't mean I don't have common goddamn sense, right? And common sense is, and even if it was just my opinion, it's not just my opinion. The science behind it proves transgender athletes have an advantage. And there's no other way no other time that we allow somebody with an advantage to compete against somebody and call it fair. It's just ridiculous. But still, me saying that, on a lot of left-wing people find that extremely offensive, that I would even suggest the fact that they have an advantage. And it's like, really? Did you just say that out loud? You really believe that? That's why I just think you guys, some people have lost their ever-loving minds to think this. It's like, you're kidding me, right? You don't think that Johnny, who's going through male puberty and running a foot race against little Jilly or whoever who hasn't, that person doesn't have an advantage? They just beat them by a half a track. What do you think? They're gift? No. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. That just boggles my mind. Or the fact when you say a child should wait till they're 18 and people look at you like you have 3 heads. What do you mean? Wait, that's cruel. That's child abuse. What are you talking about? No, we don't let kids make adult decisions because they're not adults. They don't understand what it means even. To me, that's just crazy. But people look at me and say, I'm crazy for suggesting kids can't make those decisions. It's like, what's going on? We've lost our ever-loving minds as a society. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Mm-hmm. It's not how we made you. It's not how we made you. It's if you think about. I just lost that. I can't keep that staying here.
You will be in front of Jesus. Here, I'll tell you guys something. My brother's a minister, right? And I sent him a copy of that song. And he came back and his comments were, that would be like asking God, why am I not rich? Why don't I have a big car? Why don't I have a big house? And I thought about that. I told him, I said, I'm sorry, you must have taken it wrong. I didn't mean it that way. It was simply asking God a question is, why would you put such a rocky road in front of me and make me this way? I wasn't saying that I wish I had a better life. I was just asking God, why did you choose me to walk this path when there was a way less path of less resistance, which would have been just growing old as a dude? And so that's all I was saying. So I don't know if I didn't write the song well enough to portray, convey that message, or if my brother was reading it wrong. Although as a minister, that's what he told me, that I shouldn't be thinking that way because it's like asking God, why am I not rich or have a big house or a fast car or whatever? That's all. Elizabeth says, brains aren't even fully developed. I was allowed to do everything I wanted to as a child, teen. I'd be royally, yeah, you're right. If she was allowed, I'd be royally screwed up and would most absolutely agree teens shouldn't transition. No, they can't. My God. There's a reason we don't hand the car keys and the checkbook to kids, right? There's a reason we don't let them get tattoos on their forehead of Barney because that's my favorite. Or we don't let kids get married when they're 13 because they're in love with their girlfriend, the one that we're going to be with together forever. How many people know the person that they were dating in high school, even know them, let alone are still dating? I know one couple that is still together, one out of all the people that I knew. But if you'd have asked back in high school, oh my God, I would have laid down in a road and got run over by a semi for that person. You know what I mean? It's just craziness, but we grow out of it. It's called puberty, right? We think all kinds of crazy shit during puberty. 25 is the best age to wait. Your mind is fully developed. And too many kids that are being allowed to transition, and there's not a lot of them. Goes back to the thing, there's not a lot, but one is too many. And the saddest part is the majority of the people that are detransitioning are women that thought that they were transgender males, and they removed their breasts. And they've grown up and they've gotten older. And the majority of detransitioners are actually women that transition to men, but now they no longer have a way of breastfeeding their child if they have one. And this is devastating. Devastating. I don't want to be that parent that their kid comes up to them when they're 25 or 30 and go, what were you thinking to let me transition as a child? What were you thinking? I was just a kid. I couldn't make the... Do you want to be that parent? I don't. No. Okay, what else we got here? Brains aren't even fully developed. It was allowed to do everything I want. Okay, I already read that one. Let's see. I'm sorry if I'm not getting to your messages. We do our best
Yes, I'm scanning
to
them
try
all.
to get to messages
I read
and
all
read
of
them because I think they're all important. And what I like to do is after this, I take the chat and I copy and paste it to ChatGPT, and I ask ChatGPT to pick out the 10 most important questions that aren't repeats. And I'll try to put out a short video answering those questions because I think it's really important, especially the people that have legitimate questions, not the trolls. I actually think that you are a genuine person, and you should. Right now, this is the most sensible conversation I've heard from a trans person. And that's sad to hear. I hear that a lot. And that really breaks my heart, that because I know there's other intelligent trans people out there. I happen to know a couple of them, but they don't want, there was one trans person that's a friend of mine. And she said, I couldn't do what you do. I couldn't, she can't even watch the show anymore because there's so much hatred and so much vileness towards me that it bothers her so much. She goes, I can't watch that. It bugs me when people talk to you the way that they talk to you and they don't even know you.
This
and
one,
stuff. And it bothers Christine too. Me generally, it doesn't
really
bother me
does.
as much because I don't read them all.
well, this one lady just said here, hey, how do you deal with all this hate? Like,
Yeah.
why are people so cruel?
I
I'm
don't know why.
heterosexual, but I have empathy for you, and I do believe in Jesus. I
Thank
am
you.
not the one to condemn you.
I appreciate that. I don't read them all. That's why I put it through ChatGPT and put it that way but my people that I have monitoring, like Christine, she has to read all this
I
shit
read
about
them
me,
all.
knowing that that's not who I am. But the people that are commenting this stuff, they don't even listen to what I'm saying. And the chances are I probably agree with 90% of what they think about trans and kids and sports and bathrooms and locker rooms and all that stuff. It's probably agree with the majority of what they say, but they won't stop and even listen long enough. And then the God stuff, it's like my relationship with God is my business. God said you don't judge, but I get judged here every day. So I don't understand why people just don't listen to what I'm saying. They might agree with me. So, but I appreciate the people that actually do and take the time. It really makes a difference. Hey, how do you deal? Oh, that's the one you just read. God made you the way. You're right. God doesn't make mistakes. He made me exactly how I'm supposed to be because God doesn't make mistakes. Okay? So you just shot yourself in the foot. Just saying. God doesn't make mistakes. He made me exactly how I was supposed to.
My phone's going to die.
Your phone's going to die?
Yeah.
Well, it's better than you.
Yes, better than me dying.
Because Chrissy was very sick and she just got home from the hospital. So she's probably going to wrap it up for the night. She had pneumonia and sepsis.
Yes, sepsis.
Like bad sickness.
That's a blood infection.
Trans people have existed far back as human memory. Exactly. In cultures, people are allowed to switch back and forth without discrimination. Yep. I feel that we're about both ways. There's a culture in some Mexican town or whatever where one day a year all the men dress up like women. Did you know that, Chris?
Yes, I did.
There's one day of the year. It doesn't make them, they're trans or whatever, but I think it desensitizes them to people that like me. It's like, I'm not asking anybody out there to think that I'm a biological woman. I'm not asking that. That would be ridiculous of me. I'm not asking anybody out there to treat me any way that they don't see okay with. All I'm asking is to have the decent, common courtesy that you give anybody else, right? To not be openly rude to me when you don't need to be if I haven't done anything to deserve it. I'm not trying to persuade your children to become trans. I would not wish this on anybody. I have grandkids. I have 3 grandsons, and my God, if anything, I would go overboard to teach them the value of a man in a household or relationship. A masculine figure in a house is very important, right? I don't try to take any of that away, but this is how I was made. This is who I am. I'm not trying to hide that anymore, right?
That's right.
Just who I am. And I don't expect anybody, you know what else drives me the most crazy when I hear people, they say, can trans women get pregnant? It's like, what are you, stupid? It's like, really? Did you just ask me that? Of course they cannot get pregnant. My God. It's like, how dumb is anybody? I've seen educated people refuse to answer that question. They're like, well, that's a complicated question. No, it's not. It's not complicated.
Not at all.
It's common fucking sense. No, I can't get pregnant. I don't have periods. For God's sakes, I was born male. That is the stupidest thing. There was a lady testifying in front of Congress who was a doctor, asked that question 11 times, and wouldn't just flat out say, no, trans women cannot get pregnant. It's like, stupid. Trans men can get pregnant because they're biological females, but trans women cannot. Period. I don't care what the doctor does down there and how natural they make it. You cannot get pregnant, right? I will never know what it's like to have a natural God-made vagina. All I know is what I had from what the doctor made me. I'm okay with it, but it's not the same. I have no idea what the feelings of a woman actually feel like. This is why I respect your spaces so much. While I don't think that people with penises belong in the same showers as natural-born women. That's a weapon to a lot of women, to see that around them. That is a weapon that can be used against them, and it is often used against them. So you have to respect the fact that that scares women. Hell, it scares me. I still have people, even though I have vagina and breast, people think that I should be changing in the men's room. Do you know how dangerous that would be to me? My God. That would be so, I mean, not as dangerous as a lot of women because I'm big. I could probably take care of myself pretty well, but I only do a certain point. It's just crazy. People think that if I was to go to jail, I should go to a man's jail, even though I have a vagina. I would be passed around like a pack of cigarettes. We need to use common sense, but that doesn't mean that I'm a biological female. And if I had a penis, I should be in a man's prison, right? You should not put people with penises in women's prison. You're going to ask them all to end up pregnant. It's just common sense. If we just stop and use common sense, I don't know. I'll read some more here. I just wanted to poop and leave. Oh, that's gross. I don't think he made a mistake either. I just think that you went through for a reason, and there's going to be a product. What? I lost that. Okay, for women without strength due to Christ. Okay, why does everyone argue over the things that don't matter? Religion, gender, race, class, whatever it is. The government is trying to blind for what really matters. Love, care, and kindness to each other. Yeah, empathy. People say, what are you going to do when you meet God? I said, God, you leave your body here. It's my soul that goes there. He's gonna wonder, was I kind? Did I have empathy, right? Did I treat people with respect? Did I not covet my neighbor? Did I not cheat on my spouse? These are the things God cares about. What I did to my human body, I don't think he's going to give a hoot. He's going to want to know, were you happy? Did you treat Christine with respect? Most of the time. Sometimes I get pissed at her and I say shitty things, but that's just human, right? Yeah. Sometimes she says shitty things to me. That's just a relationship. So God, I don't think God has the time with all the crap going on in the world. You really think he cares about me and what I'm doing with my body? I don't think he gives a shit. People care way too much what I do with my body when it has nothing to do with them. But that's just human nature, I guess. If they're unhappy in their own life, you might as well project it on somebody like me. I'm an easy target. They can't, like I said in my earlier comments, because they do you know that nobody has ever said anything to me in public? Never. Not one time has anybody ever said anything negative to me in public. I have had people say sir to me in public, but here's the thing. They were hoping for a rise. I didn't say, I'm like, yeah, and what's your point? You feel better now? Are you hopping now? Did you make the trans person uncomfortable? Right? It's like, I don't care. I was a guy for a long time. You're not wrong. You're just an asshole because you know that I'd prefer to be called Mr. Ma'am. But if that's what makes you happy, then do it. I don't care. Like I had somebody, I was walking into a Walmart and they had the people out there, asking you to sign a petition. And I said, no, thank you. And he goes, okay, thanks, sir. I'm like, you're welcome, ma'am. It's like, really, do you feel better now? Because I didn't sign your little petition. It's like, God dang, people are crazy. But nobody has ever openly been rude to me. They've been gross. I've had guys go by and go, dudes, here's a little advice for the guys out there. Don't do that. Don't do that. Women do not find that amusing or appealing or attractive. When dudes make noises when they walk by you, it's not a good thing. It's not a great way to start a conversation with a lady, right?
Right.
It's really not. Look them in the eyes and introduce yourself. That's what you should be doing, not going, damn, girl. It's like, oh, dude, that's a big mistake. Big
Yeah.
mistake. Just a little piece of advice for somebody who's
Disgusting.
been on both sides of the fence. I don't think you made a mistake either. I think that everyone that you went through for a reason, and there's going to be a product that comes out of this really impact the kingdom of God. Thank you. I appreciate that. Why does everyone, okay, here we go. Excuse me. He does, he loves as much. Okay, forget that one. I said, oops. But you're not a lady. I'm a lady. I'm not a female. Okay, I understand what you're saying. You're asking me, am I a female? No, I'm not. I was born male. I can't change that. But I can change my outer appearance to align my brain, who thought I was supposed to be born a woman, with my body. That's what it's all about. There is science behind it. It's called the hypothalamus. Okay, I'll run through this. I run through it every time, and I always got to tell myself, maybe I've said this 1,000 times, but it's the first time that you guys maybe have heard it. The science behind this from Dr. Schwab from the Netherlands. I've talked to him, 10 times via email. He is a leading brain person when it comes to identity, where it is, how they did it. They've studied it to the molecular level. When there's two parts of your development in the womb, the first part is that have to do with hormones anyway. The first part, it determines whether or not you grow a penis, vagina, and breast, boy or girl. That's that first part that's influenced heavily by hormones. The second stage later in development is when your brain, how your brain perceives you, is also heavily influenced by hormones. And if those hormones somehow get screwed up or mixed up or whatever, and it gets a mixed signal in your head, that's where the misalignment comes in. It's just like being a hermaphrodite or intersexed. The first, you can have both male and female body parts, where your brain can have that same issue happen to it. Therefore, when I was born, my brain thought I was a girl, which is why when I was 6 years old, I used to pray to God to fix me, right? God, I'm in the wrong body. I'd look at my little pee-pee and say, that's not what I'm supposed to have. I'm supposed to have the other thing. But as I got older, I just accepted it. But my body and my brain never quite aligned. This is a biological thing. I was born this way. This was not, trust me, it was not because of my household. I grew up with two brothers who were brutes. All they wanted to do was hunt, fish, and fuck, right? It's not my environment. Trust me. This is just who I was. Now my brothers, hell, I don't even think they'd walk down the street with me. Not looking like this. So anyway, that's the science behind this. But that, just because the science behind it doesn't mean that I've lost my ever-loving mind and I don't know the difference between a man and a woman. Or a male and a female. This shit is crazy, somebody says. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. He does. He loves you as much, if not more. Okay, this is a psychological thing. It's a mental thing, but that doesn't mean it's a mental, like you're crazy. It's a mental disorder. I will give it that. There was a misconnection in my brain. It should have came out that my brain aligned with my body, and 99.9% of the time it does. But in some cases, the brain doesn't align with the body. This is biological shit. And it can be caused by something as simple as the mother experiencing stress at that exact moment can cause this influx, or your hormone receptors are not working as you're developing. Therefore, your brain does not allow you to absorb that testosterone, which guides your brain and how it perceives itself at that time. This is just what happens. Ask a hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodites don't like being compared to trans people. I got news for you. We're not that different. Yours is usually visual. Ours is not. I believe that my brain is an intersex brain or whatever. And it's been proven on the cellular level. The problem is you can't prove it till you're dead, right? They can't get to that part of your brain, the hypothalamus of your brain, and slice it into little things, put it under a microscope to where they go, oh yeah, this does look more like a biological female than a male, until you're dead. And then it doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. And they've even studied the ones pre-hormone, post-hormone, and stuff, and it doesn't matter. And male and female, transgender women, they're male. It looks more male than female. It's a science. This is science behind it. I have a book somewhere around here. Oh, it's behind me.
Yeah, it's right there on the shelf.
I can't grab it. Let me get it. This is the book. This book right here is the science that I was telling you about. Where are our brains? By Dr. Schwab. If you want to know, or you really want to know what it is to be transgender, read this book. This will tell you what it is. Or you can go to my Medium channel. I wrote a hypothesis on it. That's what led me to Dr. Schwab. He read my hypothesis. He got back to me through email, and that stemmed a relationship via email, a professional relationship. It's go to Medium website. It's a publishing website. Look up Neurological Intersexuality Hypothesis by Brooke Lee Rose. And that'll explain it to you if you truly want to know what it is to be transgender. And if you're trans and you're listening to this, you might really want to know. If you have a son, a kid, a daughter, or a brother, read it. Read the hypothesis. It breaks it down simply. This is the long version, and my hypothesis is a short version. But basically, they're saying the same things. That has a lot more facts in it. Mine's a hypothesis. So there you go. What else we got? I got about 10 more minutes here, and then I'm going to wrap it up. But I appreciate it. Tonight's been a very, I think it's been a really good session because people are asking real questions, and it's not just a bunch of hate.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I am curious. Can you tell me more about your journey and what do you believe about God and how you see God versus how you see yourself and how you view the Bible? I read the Bible from cover to cover. It's a confusing book to read. I think it's a great moral compass. I think that's what it was meant to be, a moral compass. But I also read the part that said, don't judge other people, that free will. God gave us free will. That means that I am allowed by God to do this. Free will doesn't have like there's not a catch-22, like I'm going to give you free will, but if you choose this, you gotcha. That ain't how it goes. I think it's pretty clear that the Bible says, as long as you believeth in him, thou shalt not perish, yet have everlasting life, right? For those of you who believeth in him shall not perish, yet have everlasting life. I believeth in him, so I shall not perish, and I will have everlasting life. That's pretty plain and simple, rather than trying to pick parts of the Bible out that kind of say one thing or another, and you make it out to be what it is. How about thou shalt not judge, let thee be judged thyself? That's pretty self-explanatory, right? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. I'm just saying, That's all I'm saying. I don't know what else to say. That's what I think about the Bible.
That says it.
Yeah, I think I love God. I think God loves me. I think I get to go to heaven.
You're a good person. You will.
Do you still have your Johnson? I don't call it a Johnson. If you're talking about my penis, no, I do not. I had bottom surgery about 1.5 years ago, and it's just now becoming fully healed. It takes that long. And if you really want to check and see if somebody's trans, have them watch the surgery. You want to prevent your child from thinking that they want to go through this, have them watch the surgery. That'll change their mind in a heartbeat. I can only watch like 1/3 of it. And that was right before mine. I'm like, I can't watch this shit. I'll run away. I'll never show up to the hospital. It's a scary, scary surgery. It's very, very intense. Like Chris said, that is one of the most invasive surgeries that she could ever imagine.
Yes, it is.
What you go through, the process of changing your sex from male to female is intense. It takes a long, long time. It takes a lot of healing, a lot of mental. You need to talk to your counselor to guide you through that process, because it is not just a slam dunk. It is something that really plays with your head before and after. The phantom stuff that you deal, it's really an intense thing, and it's boy oh boy. If you can avoid it, I would avoid it, but yeah, it's rewarding to somebody like me, but it is intense, man, and it is fucking painful, because I didn't take any medicine. I didn't take any pain pills. I got by on Tylenol because I just don't like opiates. I think that they're too addictive for somebody like me, and I'd probably end up hooked on them, so I refuse to take them. I don't think that's a smart thing to do, but it was the right thing for me. So this is, my God, you talk about, if you ever freaking laugh or sneeze, you're gonna cry. If you're a dude out there and you still have your wiener, just think about having it dismantled and rearranged. Ouch. It's bad. Really, really bad. But it's rewarding to somebody like me. Was it worth it? Yeah, I think so. Was it? Like I said, it's been 1.5 years and it's still not completely like not overly sensitive, I guess to say. You know, and people want to know the question that they never ask, can I have an orgasm? Yeah, I still can. Is it the same as when I was a guy? No, it's not. It's not as intense. Is it different? Yeah, it's different. But it's still capable. Imagine it's harder, but I think that that's normal for women, isn't it? Just be harder than a dude. Anyway, it's probably TMI for a lot of you people out there, but a lot of people wonder. You know, the breast surgery and stuff, it's, to me, now I can look in the mirror at myself naked, and I'm okay with what I see. I see myself in the mirror, and I think, oh, wow, that's the way it was supposed to be. That's where the gender dysphoria comes in. That's where the alleviation of it happens. You know, to where before I would literally sit in the shower before and look at my and I would want to remove it myself, and that's not healthy thoughts, right? But I had a doctor do it from the UCSF, very, very talented doctor. Is it a natural vagina? No. Does it look like a natural born vagina? Nope. It doesn't look like one made from God, but it's good enough.
It does. It does look like a natural
No, it doesn't.
vagina.
There's a difference, you know, because God does a pretty damn good job. My surgeon was an artist, but you can't duplicate biology, but they do a pretty good job. It's okay with me. And believe me, there's very few human beings on this planet that will ever see it. Trust me. Other than my doctor, maybe nobody. Well, Chris. Other than that, there's not a lot of people that are going to see it. So, you know, pick and choose. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks of it. If I find a lesbian lover, then she'll see it. But other than that, nope. So it's not like it's going to be passed around on what is that website where the people do the dirty things? Damn, this is wild. Somebody says, I don't know why you're so interested in this, dude. You're very entertaining and a good storyteller. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I'm just spitting the truth, guys. I just want to give people the opportunity to get to know a trans person, that we're not all fucking crazy, right? I don't want kids to go through what I went through. I couldn't imagine a child going through what I went through after the surgery. I can't even imagine that. That you talk about heartbreaking. Oh my God, to imagine a child going through that kind of suffering and that kind of pain, that's inhuman. That's abuse, if you ask me. You should never, no, not kids. No. You can't do that to them because you just don't know. Kids think they know, but they don't know because they can't even comprehend what it actually means to go through the surgery. Their brains can't comprehend it. They think they can, but they can't. It's the way it is, you know, just like the breasts. My breasts do not look like a normal woman's breast. They're not ugly. They're actually pretty cool. They look good. But, you know, guys' nipples are way out here. Girls' nipples are like here for breastfeeding. So it's not the same. So anybody who says that, oh, they're natural looking breasts, no, they're not natural looking, but they're good enough for me. Right? So this is just the honest truth about what it is to transition. My body, I don't have a waist like a woman does, right? They have one less rib, you know. Like Christine was laughing at me earlier because I had my shirt off and you could see where my fat distribution, because a man's muscles are on the outside of the fat, a woman's muscles are on the inside of the fat. So even a fat man can tighten their stomach and make their belly hard, right? And really, really tough and hard. I can't do that anymore. I tightened it up and I still got a bunch of wiggly, giggly skin there because it has reversed the fat location. So some things do change with hormones and stuff. It's just bizarre to me because I'm not going and still blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's probably TMI for everybody. You know, and yeah, I feel like I look okay. I know that I don't look like a natural born female, but I think I look all right. I'm 61 years old. It's not too bad.
I think you look great.
Far too many people in the comments being ugly.'t the point? Don't like it? Swipe up. I don't know why they feel the need to do this. I really don't. You know, it's like, here's one thing that here's a problem I think a lot of guys have. They're afraid that they're going to get fooled by somebody like me. Like they'll be in a bar, maybe a little bit drunk. They see me at the bar and they'll come up and hit on me. Here's a rule that I have, and I think that all trans people should follow this rule. If somebody is showing a romantic interest in you, you have an obligation to inform that person that you're transgender, right? I think that you have an obligation because that gives them the choice to continue to pursue you or to walk away right there. Don't put yourself in a position where they find out later because it might get violent. right? But I think you have a moral obligation to say, hey, by the way, I'm trans, just so you know. I think you're hot, you're cool, whatever. But I want you to have that choice. Don't. And if everybody would abide by that, then guys might relax a little bit, thinking that, you know, because there are some trans ladies out there. Look at that one lady, Blair or whatever, Blair White. She's beautiful, right? You would never guess that that was once a dude. But I think that you have to tell them, right? You need to be upfront and say, hey, I'm trans. I think you're hot or whatever. I don't see any problem with dating somebody like me. One, I like football. Two, I can fix a car and build a house. I think that's a pretty cool chick to hang out with, right? I like fishing. I have a fishing boat. So like a lot of things, but I'm a woman now. I'm a trans woman, not a biological woman. I'm not a female, but I am a woman. So that's just me. And my time is up here, guys. I'm at just under 1 hour and 30 minutes, and that's my limit. That's where I got to cut it off so I don't lose my voice. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I got to be in San Francisco. But thanks, guys. I think you guys are fantastic. Tonight was a really good crowd that managed to get through all the trolls and ask some really, really great questions. If I did miss your question, check tomorrow on my channel, because I'm going to go back. I will put it in ChatGPT. Then I will respond to some of the questions that I think are legitimate questions and answer them for you. Subscribe, hit the like button. It really helps the channel out, because I think more people need to know that we're not all crazy. And I don't want to go after your kids or your sports. I advocate for at least one transgender athlete to have the dignity to come forward and say, I have an advantage. I don't want to compete against the girls. Can you find me somebody else to compete against? That would just be viral shit right there. Thanks again, guys. My name is Brooke Rose. I appreciate it. That's Chrissy Chris over there. And thank God that she's back and healthy. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye, Debbie.
Thank you, everyone.